Well, good morning or good afternoon, Facebook land. It's your host, Jay Kinder, with my good friend, James J. Barnes. How you doing, my good friend? It's been a little while since I've seen you, but it's such a familiar face, and I'm really happy to be. Actually, I'm honored to be on here with you, and announcing your move to eXp Realty and our new partnership. Are you having fun yet?
It's funny because a lot of people are in the same situation where they're like, man, I haven't had this much fun, pretty much since I got licensed. I mean, it kind of just like rejuvenated me again to be able to go out and talk to people about the opportunity. So it's been amazing. It really has. It's been a lot of fun.
Right. It's funny. It's what's funny to me is I had this conversation on the Face-to-Face podcast. Me and Michael recorded one earlier this week, and we were just talking about how valuable people with experience are, and you're certainly one of those that has a ton of experience. Yeah. And you've been at Keller Williams, you've been at Remax, you went independent. You've had all these different experiences, and I think sometimes we get so dead set on what we think our goal is and building a team or expansion or whatever it is, right? Like the new shiny object of what we think we're going to build. And, and we maybe don't look quite as close at people that have been doing it for a long time and why they're all doing something different now, and I think that's something that when you look at eXp and you look at the tremendous number of really intelligent individuals that have been really successful all moving to eXp, you really should look closer, really look closer. And, we say that all the time, but I think some people just discount it. I don't know, but I think it's important. And why don't you tell us your story? Tell us kind of, your story of real estate and your background and how you kind of came to this decision and what you're most excited about.
Yeah, man. So, I kind of got started. Seems like I'm old, man. It's really been 18 years, So I kind of started in the game as an investor. So buying, back in the day, late 90s, early 2000, I wanted to be an investor, have, 50 rental properties. That's kind of what really got me into it. But after I got tenants, I hated all of them. I changed my mind.
It's not really passive income, is it?
Right. Yeah, there's nothing passive about tenants, even if you hire a property management company. But anyway. That's kind of what got me started. But yeah, I ended up getting licensed. I was in the military in San Antonio. Got licensed right before I got out of the military in 2004. And I actually started with a home builder. It's kind of how it really got me started. So I worked for a big home builder there, got licensed the same year. And just a couple years into it, I was kind of tiptoeing. And then I just went full blast into real estate as an agent. I started building my team probably about 2008, give or take here. And I got to give a quick shout out, Jay, because the reason I came across you, Jeff Willems out in Arizona, he has no clue who I am. He is the reason I found out about you.
Well, don't tell me he's gonna be bragging about that for the rest of the week.
Yeah, and he said he's the reason I came across you. This is years ago. So I started watching videos of you and kind of started following you probably 2008, 2009, and then 2010 is when. And went to EGS, so Bro Summer back in the day.
You went to the 2010 EGS.
Yeah.
That was an all-star lineup. Some of the top agents in the world that had not become the top agents in the world yet were in that event. It was really an all-star cast, a lot of great people. Right?
Yeah. So started doing that and then started coaching with you guys probably about 2010, 2011 is when I started coaching with you guys. And at that point, I started with Best Homes GMAC, moved over to Remax, went back to Best Homes GMAC.
Oh, tell me. Okay, you got to tell me more. So you made a move, moving, it's not just it's not like driving down the road. You know what I'm saying? You have to change your signs. I mean, you made a real estate move, then you moved back. So what were you looking to move for, and then why did you move back?
So the reason I initially moved because I wanted to build a team. And at that brokerage, some brokerages are a little funny about when you start wanting to build a team. I mean, I'm not going to name names. There's brokerages that don't really want you to have a team.
Not team friendly.
Yeah. So that's what caused me to move to Remax. And I started building a team there. I went back because the brokerage at GMAC actually changed up. So I went from GMAC to Real Living, which still exists, I believe.
Right. Yep.
And so they wanted me to come back because I was one of the top producers there at that time. So I went back, started building my team there. Started coaching with you and Mike, and like you guys done for a lot of people, I ended up going independent. I mean, when you're around those guys and around you guys, I mean, you just
that was the better option, right?
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants to do it. I'm glad I did it. I'll never do it again, but I'm glad I did it. I learned a lot. I learned a ton.
Right.
One of the biggest things, and I told Mike this last week, a couple weeks ago when I saw him, I said the biggest thing that I learned when I started coming around you, Mike, and all the people that you guys would put in the same room at these growth summits. The best analogy I can give people is like when you're in high school, you're playing basketball and you're really good in your area, and then you go outside your area and you start playing other schools, or you go to like an AAU and you're like, shit, I'm not that good.
It's that whole nother level.
It is. And that's what those growth summits, you get yourself in a room around these high producing, just completely different thinking guys. And then, back then, of course, we used to all go back home and,
right.
kind of do the thing. And then we do it again next year. But the mentality is just such a huge thing, and just thinking much bigger than I was before I started being around these guys. So anyway, that was 2010, 2011, started coaching with you guys. 2012 was the best year. I started just kind of taking off. So you guys, when I started working with you guys, basically my business it doubled, literally. It doubled. And so I was on a really, really great projection here, and then I moved. I moved. So I was in San Antonio. My wife had a great opportunity, but that opportunity required us to move to Houston. So we moved back in 2013, end of 13, basically first part of 14, kind of moved. And it was hard. I mean, it was really hard moving, having to start in a brand new market. And so what I did, I actually worked for a home builder for the first few years I was in Houston. Went kind of defaulted back to doing that. And drove me nuts the whole time. Whole time. Because a lot of people in Houston don't know me as a realtor. They just think I work for a builder. They don't understand that, I'm not bragging, but I've sold a lot of homes.
Right.
And so I was almost like a coach, honestly. So a lot of the realtors that I would talk to, even working for the builder, I would kind of give them information, give them strategies to use to help really bump, increase their business. So it was good. Everything happens for a reason. I don't regret it. I just believe everything happens for a reason, timing wise. And so came to eXp earlier this year. The funny thing is, like a lot of people, I heard about eXp years ago.
Right.
I did absolutely no mind.
Yep.
Kicking myself like a lot of us are like now. But I came across, I started seeing a lot of eXp Facebook Lives, of course, during the course of this year. And of course, when you and Mike, honestly, and I know a lot of people feel the same way, when you and Mike start looking at something and you make a change, my ears perk up. It's like, okay, what are they doing?
Right.
It's kind of like the same thing, you see all these all these big agents moving over. It's like, I need to pay attention and see what this is. So that's kind of what led me to eXp, man. And it's been awesome. It really has. The way that Glenn is so forward thinking, it's so smart.
I say it all the time. The guy can see around corners. He can see around the corner, the things that other people can't see. And we're lucky to have him as the steward of the ship. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You said something about that reminded me of something I learned a long time ago, and I'm curious if anybody's watching has had the same experience. Is sometimes like where I came from, I graduated. I always joke about it, but I graduated. I graduated in the top 25 of my class, but there was only 36 of us, right? So I went to. I'm not even from Lawton. I'm from Walters, Oklahoma, which is population about 1,600, I think. And so where I came from, I didn't have these big goals, and I didn't know what I didn't know, right? So all I knew was kind of what was around me, and I was at my dad's Coldwell Banker. And nobody really was producing that much. There was a couple agents in town that were pretty good producers and stuff, but there wasn't anybody selling 500 homes a year. That's for sure. Right. Exactly. And so I wasn't thinking big like that. But I'll never forget the first event that I went to, and I was and somebody was doing like 200 or 300 transactions, and I'm like 200. It was 200 and something transactions. Right. In the world. And I had never been I just never had been in the room with people that all thought way bigger than I did. And I remember sitting next to a guy. And the guy was, I didn't even know the guy's name. He was like two people down from me and sitting there down the road. He gets up and goes to the microphone and said something about how he was doing 400 and something transactions and in a year, I'm looking at this guy going, what? I mean, like, this is unbelievable to me. And since then, I've always felt like once you get stretched, your mind gets stretched to a certain point, it never goes back to thinking small again. Like you get stretched to like thinking bigger. This is, there's more than, it's 10X didn't originate with Grant Cardone. 10X originated with a guy by the name of Dan Sullivan. Yeah. And Dan Sullivan has been teaching the 10X, the 10X mindset and the 10X principle of thinking 10X bigger. And it opens up the gate of the mind to so much more in terms of how you might be able to accomplish that goal. And you do things a lot differently. But I think it's extremely valuable. So I don't know if anybody else has experienced this watching this. Being around the value of being around people that just think at another level, and how that really, I always use the terminology when I used to get into these different masterminds and stuff that we do, and not the ones that we're doing now, but the masterminds that we used to pay to be a part of. Yeah. And I felt like, I always try to be the dumbest guy in the room, and get sucked up to the top. Like, they just bring you up to their level and their way of thinking and their way of getting things done and moving around problems and how they process things. And it's super valuable. So I just wanted to make the point that this company and what eXp is doing is not only is it just putting all of us in the room together, but it's putting us in the room together in alignment where it makes sense for me to invest my time helping you get to that next level and think bigger and do bigger. And we do it together as a part of the company. And that's all I've ever wanted, was just how do we work together and put our fires together, make one big fire, and build something that we're all, and we all have a stake in the outcome, which is just a really cool business model. Yeah, no, it is. I mean, it's when we do these events, like in the past, we would always, when we're at the event, it's all good. And, honestly, when we go to these growth summits, I think once you build relationships with people, even outside of coaching, I feel like I could reach out to somebody, even though we weren't necessarily from the same company. It's just the culture that you guys started back in the day, Right. So I could reach out to somebody and say, hey, I saw you doing, like Greg Gold, for example, with the open house that's back in the day. Yeah. All these people, I could probably still reach out to them back then. Yep. They would help me, but it's probably a limit to how much they would really help me. Right. Now, everybody's just like, what do you need? It's amazing how he's created this culture. And obviously we all benefit from it, but it's just so cool to just be able to, go to workplace and, hey, I got this going on. Anybody got a question, or can anybody help me? And bam, within minutes you got. I'm going to talk directly to you that are not in eXp at the moment, but you're watching this for whatever reason, or you're thinking about it. You just can't possibly know what we're talking about when we talk about collaboration and Facebook Workplace until you've experienced it. Yeah. And it's the number one thing. I probably say it now. You're probably hearing me say it for the third time if you've been watching a bunch of these, for sure. But you have the resources at your fingertips, and I've used this before. The Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger talk about compensation drives behavior and compensation alignment, and that's the number one driver in any business model is the alignment of compensation of the people. And it really, when you really think about it, it seems insignificant, right? Like, it's not like I'm going to make a lot of money off of you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not it's not how I'm even thinking about it. But it does change the behavior enough that that we're going to put aside the time. We're going to respond to an email. I try not to let any messenger messages. I don't care who it is. But there's been times in my life where, I got meetings all day, I'm managing people, and I got all these things I'm doing that I may or may not be able to get back to you. And that doesn't happen to me today because, my focus is now on serving everyone, in eXp, and being a servant, more so than even I was before, because I had to manage more people to do what we do. So because now it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter. So you can be able to help people. And I'm a coach. I enjoy coaching and helping other agents. I really do. Yep. And so this platform that Glenn has created for us, it opens the doors so much, man. It's not just about Houston anymore. For all of us, it just doesn't matter. So we're able to add value to people and help build their business. And then, you add just the component of wealth. That's just the thing about it.
Every time I go talk to somebody now, I'm like, listen, this is so much more than just your GCI. Okay, this is beyond just your GCI. This is long-term thinking, which never existed for us anymore. I mean, it's never existed before. And so what Glenn's done, this is long-term. Like, this is just, it's not just what's my commission split.
Right.
This is beyond that. So every time I talk to people, that's what I say. Listen, it's beyond commission split, guys. All right, this is something that's not existed before. And now we have this opportunity to be able to not just worry about what a split is or what the track. This is beyond that. And I love that. And so I get real passionate when I go talk. Like yesterday, I went to talk to a school, real estate school here locally, and I tell these guys the same thing, like, because they're asking, well, what is the split? I'm like, listen, you guys, don't worry about the split. This is a completely different business model than what you're used to, right? What you've heard of. And so these guys have never had a license, so they don't know anything at this point.
They don't have no idea what they don't know.
Yeah. So it's been great, man. I just talked to them yesterday, and every time I talk to an agent, I'm like, listen, don't worry about commission splits right now. This is a bigger picture right now. And for some people, it's new, so they're not used to it, and that's why a lot of people are kind of like, I'm not sure. They're hesitating. It didn't take me long. Like, soon as I saw it, and I wish somebody would explain it to me, 2 years ago, and really sat me down. Soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh my goodness, finally, like, I'm on board. It didn't take me long.
Yeah, well, that's because we've been in this business a while, right? Like, you can see the gray and the beard coming in real strong here.
I had a full head of hair 10 years ago, Jay.
Yeah, and I think most of us, I've had just quite a few meetings in the last couple of weeks where it seems like everybody I talked to that got into real estate kind of accidentally got into real estate. And that's been kind of the theme, I think, for most of the people I've ever met. But, you kind of just end up in real estate and you don't think, well, I'm going to be doing this 20 years from now. Am I building an asset? Right. And that's where I think, I think that if you're truthful with yourself and you take your I'm building my own company filter off, or I'm building my big team filter off, and you really look at what's the value of what it is that you're building. You spend your whole life building this, and people that love you and a business that's very fruitful for you and has a nice income, but has no exit value. There's no asset there. And that was the thing that you can hope that someone's going to come along and make an offer, but then do the math right on what that would even look like. And they're buying you with your own money. They're buying you they're asking you to stay on for 2 years, paying you 2 years, maybe 3 years, EBITDA, and that's not they're basically buying you with your own money. There's no real, and nobody's going to retire. Like, for instance, I sold my business in Lawton to the guys that run it now. And mainly because I just didn't have the time to invest, in managing and owning it. And it was either going to make money or lose money. It wasn't going to make me wealthy. Yeah. So I sold it to him for $350,000. And we're not talking now. I couldn't retire on that. so that was a 10, 12, how many years I was there? 12 years, 13 years, something like that of my life. I spent building a very successful business that I basically sold for again, couple years worth of profits. Yeah. So, that's basically, one of the opportunities. So what are you most excited about? In terms of, building, and I know you love coaching and I'm with you on that. I think anybody that has the opportunity to sit down with you and learn from you, you've done it before, right? Yeah. Like, there's just, there's a proven, repeatable system. And if you can learn what other people have done to be successful, then you can, you just basically be a good modeler and do exactly what they did. So, people can come to you and you have now an incentive to help them. Whereas, you would have to pay us, $1,300 a month for coaching. Right. There's really an incentive now for people to join you at eXp and you can help them with growing their business. Is that how you're seeing the opportunity?
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, it's no longer about locale where you live now. Now you can just kind of branch out and this is the thing. Everybody's going to connect with different people, right? So you go out, it's just everybody's going to connect differently. My experience is a little different than everybody else's. We've all been around. A lot of us have been around for a while, but everybody's going to connect differently. So the way I explain something, may connect with somebody a little bit different. So the ability to be able to take this outside of Houston and go, I'm from Virginia, so I know a lot of people there. So it's just that ability to be able to go beyond the local market is just it's amazing. You know, I got people in Mexico right now. I got some friends that live over there that I've already reached out to. So from that perspective, the opportunity, I mean, it is limitless, you know?
It is. It's just, we're just in US and Canada, and we're maybe 14,000 agents strong. Yeah. And we are just, I mean, we ain't even scratched the surface. Yeah. I mean, I can't wait, you know, to take this across the ocean into new markets and new countries. I mean, it's going to be an awful lot of fun. It's really, truly disruptive. It really is.
Yeah, I mean it's new. It's never been done. I mean, I keep telling people, everybody's like, it's never been done. What we're doing has not been done before. So that is just a lot of what I see when I talk to people. Like they've never seen it.
Even and here's the thing, like you could try to copycat this model, and there's always a number two that comes along and tries to compete. But, you know, but you know how even Netflix has Hulu. You know, Uber has. And there will be someone who tries to come along. But the brilliance in this model is the stock incentives, the ability to buy stock at a 20% discount with 5% of your commission over 10 years. That's a huge deal to me. For agents, I think that's that don't save. I mean, Brady's 20 years old. He was sitting on my couch in here the other day and was talking about the stock. And, you know, he don't know nothing about stock. He's 20 years old. And just doing the math on that. And he was like, so if I do this much in GCI, I could buy this much stock at a discount. He's like, and then the 3 years I could sell it. And I said, yeah. I said, he was like, well, what's the stock going to be worth? I said, well, nobody knows what the stock's going to be worth. I said, absolutely. It could go up, it could go down, but that's how all stock works. But you know, so he was getting it though, like, you know, like, man, you know, because he's probably like me, he's going to spend most of his money back in his business. That's what I did. And you know, I invested some in some places. I had 20-something rental properties that were definitely not passive at all. So, you know, it's a great opportunity. And then, the rev share component, you know, again, you know, if you're looking at this and you haven't really dug in, a lot of people think they know the model. And I would just challenge you to say, okay, you think you know the model, you need to watch the webinar. And I know, James, you got a link that you can post in the comments here.
Absolutely.
To watch the really the detailed, you know, this is how I look at it. It's like 45 minutes long, I think, but if you're going to invest 10 years, 20 years of your life doing something, and you're not willing to invest 45 minutes to really truly understand the model and what comes with, what all comes with this opportunity and really understand it, then, you know, you're probably not going to be in the business that long anyway. So it's worth the investment of time to do that, in my opinion. And then, I think, we see it and how we see helping you is an important part. The things that we can do to help everybody, and because we're in alignment, we can help, with a lot of the people that you're going to bring on. We're going to help you with, training them and helping them with building their business too. So pretty fun opportunity. And what's most exciting to me is I didn't know it was 2010. 2010, I went through, I don't know what I was doing, but I was looking. Oh no, I know what it was. I was watching some video. We had all of our videos we have stored in Wistia, but we have, literally it's thousands and thousands of hours of footage of video over the years. And so I was in 2010 and I was looking at EGS and they were panning through and they were, everybody had name tags on. And I was seeing all the different people that were there. I was like, oh man, I didn't know that. It was a pretty small event. Curtis Johnson there, Jeff Williams. There's just a lot of the heavy hitters. Again, back then, if I would have thought, hey, we're all going to be owners of a company together, and we're all going to be working on building something together. That would have been like the perfect opportunity, but it didn't exist until now. But now that it's here, I'm happy to be partnered with you and happy to help you build not just Houston, but build wherever Virginia, wherever it is that you have agents that you want to help build and grow. And obviously, you got the model, with the technology and the things that they bring to the table, the additional training, and the win-win for everybody.
No doubt, man. I'm excited. It's kind of like having a big EGS all over again.
Yeah,
because almost, all those guys are, a lot of us are with eXp now. And
right. So, and I don't have to manage putting on big events. And so I'm
much easier. Absolutely. Right. It was fun. But much like that, to me, Glenn has taken, it's the same thing, he because you guys changed my mindset. I know I'm not the only one. When we go to EGS and be around all these heavy hitters. And then you look at what Glenn's doing, and he's like, You know, you look at what he's doing, it's like, oh my goodness.
Right.
Wow. So yeah, it's really been rejuvenating to be able to go out and just talk and share, you know, what we're doing and how it works. And, you know, I don't beat anybody over the head with it. You know, some people are going to get it. Some people won't.
Yep.
And eventually I think a lot of people are, you know, they're going to, much like a lot of us now are saying, I wish we would have done it a couple of years ago. But the beauty is, you know, it's still early. You know, we're just scratching the surface right now. So I'm looking forward to the future and just continue to see how things just grow, because it's coming. It's gonna happen.
You can't stop it. You couldn't stop it. What it do?
No doubt.
But yeah, James, appreciate you, man. And
thank you, Jay. Appreciate you guys, man. Mike too. Like I said, you guys kind of got my mindset. So like I told Mike the other day, man, the one thing you guys did was you got my mind to just like start thinking much bigger.
Right.
And now Glenn has done the same thing now. Yeah. You know, he's done the same thing.
I scratch my head when I look at how he came up with this and put it all together. Like there's certain little things like that. Everything just kind of clicked into place. Like, man, you nailed this thing. This thing it's perfect. You can't penetrate. It's
as perfect as it can be. You know what I mean? We have some. It's just we can't get. And it doesn't matter what brokerage you go to. I mean, there's going to be issues. I tell people, you're going to sell real estate anyway. What is the downside?
Right.
You're going to sell real estate if you're going to do this. You know, if this is what you want to do, what doesn't matter what brokerage you're at. You have that extra component. It's just like, again, I don't beat anybody over the head, but I'm passionate when I talk to people. Like,
it's either you see it, you can put your blinders on. I don't see it. It doesn't sound good to me. It sounds like it's not going to be good. No, so you either see or you don't. And we're looking. Brent Go says something I love. He says, "I'm looking for people who are looking for me," and I love that. You know what I'm saying? Like, then that's how I'm wired. I mean, shoot, I've been in this company almost a year now. This November 1st will be a year. And you can go watch my very first Facebook Live that I did when I announced a year ago. And you listen to me on this today, 1 year later. And I've never done anything where I've been this excited for this long. I mean, I'm fired up about eXp, and I'm fired up about this company and where it's going, and just being able to contribute and be a part of it. So, those are all things that should be getting people thinking.
No doubt.
So hopefully this was valuable for everybody that watched. Thank you for listening in. See a lot of good voices that jumped in here. And anything else you want to leave them with?
No, man. If somebody's got questions, so I'm in the Houston area, I just help people kind of get out of your comfort zone. So I teach a spin class, right? And so I always tell people, you want to see some change, you got to get out of your comfort zone. Because people are in their comfort zone. I get it. I was there too. But when I saw this, I got out of my comfort zone real quick. Start looking at the long term and the opportunity with the eXp. So if anybody's just got questions, man, I'm here. You can message me. But I'll put a link down there in the box there. And so if somebody wants to reach out to me, be glad to give you guys any information I can provide, man. But thank you guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate you, Jay.
Appreciate you, James. Have a great day, and have a great weekend too, man.
All right, you too.
All right. Take care.
Bye.